Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now when I first started doing the Hookster Talk series, I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to have to make any in January because what is going to happen in the real world of F1 in the whole of January? Well, I've got to say, I think there's more happening now than what's going to happen in the whole of the 2021 season. So let's get straight into it and then we'll discuss. So first off the bat then, there is no Chinese Grand Prix. Yes, that is now off the calendar as well as Australia. So Bahrain will be the first round of the season. Let's go to the calendar. This is the revised calendar as it stands at the moment. Bahrain is first on the calendar. Imola has now been drafted into the second round. And the third round has still to be confirmed. And Australia has moved to round 21 in November. That shouldn't be too bad, actually. It shouldn't be too bad because it's getting near to summertime in Australia in November. Yes, 1st of December is the first day of summer in Australia. So it should be a nice spring day for the Grand Prix in 2021. But we will see, But that should be okay. But of course, all this is still to be confirmed at the moment. So we move on now. And at Renault, Cyril Abiteboul. Now, I don't know if that's the correct spelling or whether you say it right, but I did put it into Google and that's how it came out. Yes, Abiteboul has left Renault, which is now, of course, Alpine. And I think that's really bad news for Renault. He really did start to get this team a little bit closer up to the front of the grid. And I know it's a whole team effort, but the team is led from the front. And you only have to ask Toto Wolff about that, yes. And so I think him leaving is going to be quite a big blow to Renault. Quite a big blow indeed. The new bloke is going to have to, acclimatise and settle himself in. I just think this is a really bad move at the moment for Renault, which is also just about to become Alpine. Now, of course, they've just released a testing livery in the last day or so, and yeah, it doesn't look very good, does it? But anyway, it's only a testing livery, so don't get too excited. So yeah, I'm not very hopeful for what's going to happen at Renault in the future now that Cyril has left the building. But we will see. Hopefully it'll be okay. Now I'd like to talk about Fernando Alonso, who is also making his return to Formula 1 in the Alpine team. Now, is this a good fit? Is this a good fit, really? Let's have a look at Fernando Alonso. Well, he's 39 years old. And of course he has a fierce reputation for being very, very difficult to work with. Now let's have a look at his career when he was at McLaren with Honda. I mean, he basically moaned all the way through the seasons he was with Honda, didn't he? Absolutely moaned about the engine being so slow. But just look at it now. As soon as he left the team after 2018, McLaren suddenly got better. Now, what does that tell you? I think it tells you that, in fact, the problem at McLaren wasn't the fact of the Honda engine. The problem was Fernando Alonso. And now he's coming back to Renault, which is going to be rebadged as Alpine. Is this going to be a good move? I'm not so sure. Really. Anyway, we will see what happens as the season progresses. But I think this is the wrong move for Fernando Alonso. It reminds me of Michael Schumacher when he came back to Mercedes in 2010, to be honest. It seems like a bit of desperation. He's not going to be as good as he was. I mean, he was starting to really tail off towards the end of his career anyway. So I'm not thinking good thoughts about this at Renault. Anyway, we will move on. There was a rumour that the 2022 redesigned cars were going to be put back to 2023, but they have now been confirmed by the FIA that the plans are still to go ahead. Of course, this was rather silly that everyone jumped on that bandwagon because, of course, at the start of the 2020 season, they already said that they were working on the developments for these 2022 cars. So there was no way, really, they were going to put it back another year. So there you go. That's pretty much all the news that's happening in Formula 1 at the moment. Apart from two other pieces of news just to tell on the end. And that is that Codemasters looks like they're now going to be taken over by EA. Yes, because Take-Two have now withdrawn their offer of buying Codemasters. So that means that EA are now basically got no competition. And they can just go out there now and buy Codemasters for $1.2 billion. I think it's dollars. $1.2 billion. Now, how do we feel about this? Well, as I said in that earlier video, I think it's very, very sad news. Very, very sad news indeed. And I think this is going to be the downfall of Formula 1, especially with EA. Now, I've been playing Battlefront 2 recently, and I just can't believe how buggy and glitchy that game is. And this is supposed to be a premier game from EA. It's just unbelievable. There's stormtroopers falling out of the sky and everything. It was just... I'm just gobsmacked how bad this game really is. And I just fear that things are not going to go well for our F1 future games. Anyway, don't worry about it at the moment. That's going to take at least another year before the EA effect starts to come in. So if you're waiting for F1 2021, we should be golden. We should be golden. Yes, but F1 2022, oh my god. Yeah, that could be a disaster. Could be a disaster. Anyway, that's me rambling on. As always, leave me your thoughts and comments in the comments of this YouTube video. What do you think about Fernando Alonso returning? What do you think about Cyril leaving Renault? And of course, the revised calendar now for 2021. We all thought that everything was going to be back to normal. Well, it's not going to be. I think personally we're going to be lucky to get another 17 rounds in this championship. My personal thoughts are, with everything that's going on at the moment, we should just forget about everything for this year and get these vaccines out to whoever wants them and whoever doesn't want them. I don't really care. Either way is good. But just leave everything, because all we're trying to do now at the moment is hang on to what we had before. Well, all that we had before has now gone. We've got to adapt to this new normal. And I really don't think this new normal has got a place for Formula 1 to carry on this year. You should just stop it for 1 year. Just come back with the new cars in 2022, and hopefully things will be a lot better in the whole of the world, and then we can just go from there. Of course, this is never going to happen. This is never going to happen because, of course, Formula 1 is big business and big money, and of course they've already made all the cars, so it's just not going to happen. I'm just saying that's what they should do, because all we're doing by continuously going to these places is spreading it around again, aren't we? We're just spreading it around again. Nobody seems to be understanding that. Every time we walk out the door, we're spreading it around. Yes. I'd just like to say a special thank you also to all the NHS workers out there who are doing a tireless job at the moment. A lot of them are completely knackered right now. I'd just like to say a special thank you to them, and of course to everyone else who is keeping us going. All the shop workers, the supermarket workers who are providing us with food, otherwise we'd all starve to death. I'd like to say a thank you to them, and of course workers in the transport industry and everyone else that is still having to keep going. We've got the gas, don't forget, the electric is still on. Yeah, it's all still running. There's not one bloke sitting there pressing buttons in the electric. That has to be continuously run, and of course they're pretty overstretched right now as well, because a lot of people are at home, so they're using up the national grid quite a bit. So yes, a big shout out to everyone actually who is continuing through this pandemic to keep us going, basically. Anyway, that's far too much rambling for me. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.